So yeah, the project that we're working on this semester is the LSP for Jakarta, so the language server for Eclipse Jakarta Enterprise Edition. Yeah, just kind of get into it. So Jakarta EE is a specification for defining APIs and their interactions. It was moved to the Eclipse Foundation in like 2017 when it was renamed from Java EE to Jakarta EE. And the top level project is Eclipse Enterprise for Java or EE4J. LSP for Jakarta is a language server for Jakarta EE. So I'm going to explain what a language server is next, but basically it provides a core language support for specifications under the Jakarta EE umbrella. And it builds on top of LSP4J and provides a core language server implementation. So it includes clients to enable the language server support in the Eclipse desktop IDE, which is like a lot of what we're working with. So it's managed by the Eclipse Foundation, and they already host a project for a Java language server. So it was kind of natural to consider a language server for ease of use of cloud native development using Jakarta EE. So a language server protocol is obviously a protocol that standardizes how tools such as like an editor, an IDE, in this case Eclipse, and language servers communicate. So a single language server could be reused for multiple development tools. So in order to do that, basically it just consolidates all of the implementation for things that you would use in your IDE, like IntelliJ or Eclipse, like autocomplete, go-to, or documentation, like when hovering over something for a programming language. The actual integration of the language server into a particular tool isn't actually defined by the language server protocol. It's left to the tool implementers. And to simplify this implementation of language servers and clients, there's libraries and SDKs. So basically how this works, you've got the language server and you've got your tool. So the user would open a file or a document. The tool will notify the language server that a document is open by sending this text document did open and tell the language server to initialize its tools. So basically at this point, the truth about the contents of the documents are now in memory instead of the file system. And the contents now have to be synchronized between the tool and language server. So then the user would make edits or click, go to definition or hover, and the tool would detect these things and send the information to the language server. So either for like a go-to, it would send the URI of the document as well as the text position the go-to is called from. If the user had edited the document, like in this example, it sends the changes to the file. The language server takes these diagnostics and calculates the diagnostics with this information rather, and then sends it back to the tool to display. So if it was a go-to definition, it would send back the document URI and the position of the symbols definition inside the document. If it's changes to a file and there's like an error, it would send back those diagnostics. So suggestions for like, oh, quick fix, you forgot, like, since you extended this class, you need to have this inside, that kind of stuff. So that's the basics of how it works. And I think Matthew's going to talk a bit about how we're doing our code sprint this semester.
Yeah, so over this weekend, basically, we first learned about the technical background of our project, and then we set up all our environments, like downloading Eclipse and all the required stuff for that. Then we saw a demo of it, and we got our hands on to first try this, all this stuff, just to learn how to implement diagnostic collectors, which can identify problems in your code. So we learned how to do that. And then most of yesterday, we started to work on real issues, our first issues that we could solve for the project. Next slide. So then the plan for the rest of the semester, we're going to continue to improve the current features we have and solve new issues, obviously. So basically the main goal of this semester is to add support for Web Profile 9 specifications. And the goal by the end of the semester is to completely finish that spec. So all of us are going to focus on a certain part of this spec and specialize so we can learn more about that specific thing. And then separately and together work on this stuff. So this weekend we didn't do this, but soon in the future, we're going to be learning how to identify missing parts of the spec and then open our own issues for that stuff. So yeah, that's basically the goal for the semester. Thank you.
Yeah.